more at the table. Super quick one for you. We're going to be doing some limited edition t-shirts on the channel. I'm wearing the first of them. This is the Arm Wars SINISTER Black Edition. There's only going to be 100 of these shirts made. It's a special promotion. If you want to get your hands on one of these, one of the 100 t-shirts on the SINISTER Black range, the link is in the description. Get yourself there. I'm wearing an XL right here. I'm like 6'1", I weigh about 108 kilos, and this is an XL to give you an indication on size. If you want one of these bad boys, get yourself down there. Any problems at all, just email us, supernaturalstrengthchannel@gmail.com. That's supernaturalstrengthchannel@gmail.com, and we'll get an additional link out to you. Get yours now, mother fluffers. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Neil pick up the Fat Lab with you in the mother fluffing house, and we are going deep inside the minds of the world's greatest arm wrestlers. And tonight, we got one of my most favouriteest people in the sport of arm wrestling. Yes, it's my very own Tom, the Lean Machine Holland in the house. And I've been looking forward to this, Tom. Been a while since we caught up. We've done bits and bobs. We've had you on the great lightweight debate and other stuff. But this is about you, strictly about you, mate. And welcome to the show. I'm excited to have you here.
Same, mate. Good to be on here. Been listening to all the past shows and that deep inside. Like all RVJ and everyone. It's all really good shows. Can't wait for it. See what happens.
People won't know the level of technical expertise and graft that we go to. If you're out there right now wondering why the sound is a little bit shite, that's because myself and Tom Holland are definitely better at arm wrestling than we are at setting up this kind of stuff. And for the last, what would you say, Tom, about 10, 15 minutes we've been mupping about with sound and trying to get 15, this thing to work? Yeah.
15, 20 minutes. Yeah, 15 minutes.
Yeah, we could have filled that time with a lot of arm wrestling content, but no. That's the level of commitment that we're prepared to go to try and make this thing. Well, first of all, just to try and make the microphone stop buzzing back, which was a thing for no apparent reason. But tell them what you've done, Tom. You've got yourself a camera there, haven't you, son?
Yeah, I have got myself a little vlogging camera.
Yeah.
Going to start getting on the YouTube. Got a few
Everybody's
ideas.
a YouTube sensation now, mate. That's it. You got to keep it real. Get on YouTube.
Yeah,
do it.
Got to jump on board. Got to be done.
Now, the other thing you'll probably notice, which gives you a bit of evidence of how things are in Great Britain, is that both myself and Tom, both usually extremely sexy, good-looking guys, both a little bit scruffy, haircut's not the best. And that is because Britain is shut. No hairdressers and no ability to do anything else. So I wanted to start this with just checking out with Tom. For a guy like yourself, mate, bit of a stylish dude, always a bit of a successful fellow with the ladies, how have you been going on with the grooming regime, son? Have you got yourself like a Babyliss ball or clippers of some description? How have you been rolling?
No, I'm lazy, mate. Do you know what? I shaved this 2 weeks ago. Before that, I left it for about 3 months.
How long do you get with the group? Because you're a bit of an hairy dude, aren't you, mate?
Yeah, longest.
Can you get to?
Well, it was literally about that long. It's pretty long.
Yeah, that's pretty serious.
Yeah, about 4 months growing it.
So if you let that really go, could you be like an ultra skinny Gennady Quickvenia? And if you shaved your head, could it be like super skinny Michael Todd?
Yeah, basically.
Pretty good look, mate. You should let that go at some point. You should let it go really, shave your head and let it go seriously long. Paint a grey streak down the middle. Colour your wall green. How's that sound?
I don't need to paint it. Got all sorts of colours inside it. Red, like black, brown, grey,
you get a bit of a weird
ginger
mix going on, do you think?
Oh yeah, it's just rainbow.
Lovely darts.
All the way through.
So Tom, a lot of people will know you, mate, from the World Armwrestling League and also from super matches around Europe, where it's fair to say you've carved out a little bit of a reputation now as one of the men to be feared. But what they may not know is that you've been in and around the sport of arm wrestling for a very, very long time. And that was where I wanted to sort of start things. Can you just give us a bit of history on how long and how you got involved with the sport? What is your sort of background within arm wrestling, mate?
Right, well, I started in 2007, beginning of 2007. Basically what it was, I've been around it my whole life, ever since I can remember. My parents used to be really competitive. My dad got to world silver medalist in '94 in Sweden, and he was doing it for only a few years at that time. And
for those people out there who don't know Tom's dad is a very, very famous arm wrestler here in the UK. One of the guys that I grew up with arm wrestling, and one of my closest friends at the time, a lovely lad called Lee Holland. Now, some people know Lee as the Bulldog, but he was a very, very explosive puller, unbelievably quick. And it's fair to say he was like a very different build to yourself, wasn't he, mate? Very stout and solid. And his forearm was just something to behold, wasn't it? It was massive.
That's what it is. I got my dad's strength from my mum's build.
Mm-hmm. So, I wish I had your mum's build, mate. I'll tell you what. There wouldn't be a back tit in sight, would there? Well,
that's the benefit of it, isn't it? But
you've got a metabolism of a greyhound, haven't you?
Mate, look. Digestive bars.
Oh, mate, I'll tell you what.
Love it.
I can't even walk past the chocolate bar. If I walk past that, I'll be about 125 kilos.
I wish I was. That's the target.
So, to get big, you're going to get massive.
Yeah.
Wear the giant pumpkin.
Speaking of, I've been trying it for the last 10 years. I've gained 5 kilos in 10 years, so it's not going well. Not in a minute.
And in terms of height, mate, you're what, 6'3"?
6'3". 6'3". This morning I was 79 kilo.
79 kilograms?
79, yeah.
Christ, and this is winter weight, isn't it? That's when you you can put on a bit of weight in winter. In summer, when you slim down and take it. Look, did you notice that background change there? Look at that, look.
Yeah, to see it there.
I don't know why that happened. I didn't change a goddamn thing. That's a level of technical prowess that you see on the show, ladies and gentlemen. So going back to your parents, your mum, Marie Holland, another lady who competed in Great Britain for, it's got to be 10 years, long period of time on the circuit there. And both your mum and dad were very successful, as you say. Were you sort of aware of the fact that they were so deeply embedded in the sport when you were a kid, mate?
I was, but at the same time, it's all I knew when I was growing up, so I didn't... obviously, you see your parents as like the superheroes, don't you? You see your parents as being the strongest people and can beat anyone and whatever. With the arm wrestling as well. I think at one point my dad got to a point in the country where he was unbeatable.
Yeah.
And then he ended up going to the Worlds in Sweden, silver medalist there. Then he went to Yukon Jack.
95 in New York.
95, yeah. And he placed third behind Bill Brezink and John Brezink.
Mm-hmm.
He was a bit gutted about that. He thinks he could have given him a better go, but it's John Brezink in it.
Yeah, I would. You know what, mate? I would actually agree with that. I think if Lee's out there watching, he would definitely still feel like that. And I actually agree with him. I think if Lee, knowing what Lee's capabilities were at that time, I think if Lee had more experience in that kind of environment and hadn't had the same pressure and expectation upon himself, I think he definitely had the capability to do something, particularly with Bill, I think, that year.
Yeah.
I think he really did.
I think Bill got in his head, because after John, he had to pull Bill after for a place in the final.
Yep.
And, it's almost like, obviously it's hard for me to say, but from what I see, it just looked like he didn't try and attack, he was just trying to hold on. And obviously if you're letting someone attack you, if there's someone that strong, it's not going to go good, is it?
Yeah, particularly when that person's Bill Brezink, like you say.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, I mean, Bill sort of lived in the shadow of his brother, but what people won't realise is Bill, in his own right, was exceptional.
Yeah.
I mean, really exceptional. You know, if you track Bill's career back, he was always a finalist at the Yukon Jack. World champion, also. He won the World Championships in Virginia Beach, defeating Erekle Gurkiani. So, shows you the kind of level that Bill Brink was at. He was absolutely rock strong, really well rounded, very much in the image of John, could pull anywhere, And I think you hit the nail on the head in terms of your dad's style was all about that attack, wasn't it? That massive influx. He was so explosive. That was his big weapon.
Yeah.
You know, and to not utilise that, to not initiate in the way he could, I can imagine he was gutted. And I think he felt really bad about that. And he didn't need to, because he'd done us proud. I thought he did a great job.
Yeah, he did.
And
I mean, the way he went through a lot of the other guys as well.
Oh, my God. I mean, I remember him slaying George Gibbons.
George Gibbons, yeah. Who was there as well? There was a world champion. I think it was a Russian.
Yeah, it was the Georgian kid. He was a Georgian, and he was the 90 kilo WAF world champion from the year before.
Yeah.
And your dad had taken the silver medal at 100 kilograms in Sweden.
Yeah.
So your dad had cut. Also, that's another important point. Your dad cut weight as well for the Yukon.
He had to cut. Do you know what I was thinking?
10k, wasn't it?
About 10 kilos, but he had to cut. I think it was like 4 kilos on the day.
Mm-hmm.
Or the night before, something like that, but whatever it was, he said he was on the rowing machine and like just trying to burn it all off as fast as he could. He said that took a little bit out of him as well, just where it's so rushed.
I can imagine it did, mate, and particularly on a long day like that and a warm day like it was, you know, but I think with your dad, it was always that weight of expectation, the mental side of it, and just making sure, and that's not specific to your dad, that's specific to us all. Yeah, everybody's been there, haven't we? You know what I mean? When you get on there and you're like, you doubt yourself a little bit, and a lot of people around you have that massive weight of expectation, and there's guys in your class like John and Bill Brezink, you know. It's easy to come up short in your own mind. And I think if your dad had stuck with it and a couple more years in there, yeah, he was very capable. Yeah,
that's what I was saying to him as well. If he had another 5 years, or say like he didn't stop, and he was still about now, like continuing from 95 up to now, where would he be?
Yeah.
Like how far could he have gone with it?
Oh.
He only started in, I think it was around early 90s.
He started later than me, but I was a kid. I was young at that time.
Yeah.
And one of the things I'll always say about your dad, he was always a great bloke with me. Absolutely spot on. I sort of really looked up to your dad. He was a friend of mine. I was based, a couple of years later, I went down to Loughborough University. Still only young, obviously in my early 20s. Went down to Loughborough University. Was looking for people to train with. Luton, Bedfordshire was sort of like an hour, even maybe less, maybe 3/4 of an hour drive down the road. And your dad was always happy for me to come down, and the lads from Loughborough Uni to come down and train with him. And that was ace. It was absolutely fantastic. And after a couple of years into it, your dad just, you know, he really took off on a real trajectory. And as I say, knowing Lee's capabilities at his peak, he was mega strong.
Yeah.
Mega. You know, really, really solid. I remember he pulled Hagen Roma, who's a giant super heavyweight German lad, when we were out in Belgium. And your dad was dominant force, anywhere from sort of 100 up over there. And it was almost like one of the original super match pulls, you know what I mean? Yeah. And that was great. He pulled Trevor the Beef Lloyd, also in the UK in a super match down in London. Awesome stuff, mate. They were great times, you know. And it's a shame, really, that some of the guys like that, like your dad, like Rod Lynette, who was another great arm wrestler, Richard Poole, Alan Greaves, a lot of these guys do get forgotten about, overlooked. You know, there was so many good pullers: Norman James, Clive Lloyd, Lee St. Thomas, Dola Akammu. Some amazing pullers back there, and it's sometimes nice to reflect on those, you know, and just have a think back at them. And one of the things I love about you is the legacy that you represent, Tom. You know, that's the second coming. I was on a show the other day, actually, mate, with Eric and Bob Brown. And we were talking about the Yukon Jack. I don't know whether you caught that show.
Yeah, I see that.
And we mentioned, because I said, and you know who that is? Because he said about Lee Holland, a Brit, Lee Holland. And I said, you know who that is, don't you? He said, no. I said, that's the dad of the Lean Machine, Tom Holland. Yeah, right, okay, trying to, join the dots. So, how old were you when you sort of got interested in it, mate, embroiled in it?
Well, I've always been interested. Also, I moved around quite a bit when I was younger as well. So all the new schools that I was going to, I went to a few. I've probably been to about 7 different schools. But in all the schools, be telling everyone, oh yeah, my mum and dad are arm wrestlers, they're champion arm wrestlers, like, I'm good at it as well, I'll beat anyone. Just, and then now and then you get the big girl in year 6 that'll come and beat you. It's like, no. So,
you can handle it, son.
That only happened once. I was in year 4, so. No, but yeah, that's the thing. I always loved it. And then my mum and dad got back together in 2007, January 2007, for a little bit. My dad brought a table back. So at that point, I was like, right, let's do it properly. Start getting on it. It's just me, my sister, mum and dad. We were all on the table. My sister as well. She was...
Levain, is that, or Rach?
Yeah, Levain.
Levain,
yeah. She was ridiculous. I couldn't beat her for the first 6 months. Something like that. It's just... Honestly, even the wrist step. Saying my dad's got the wrist step. She's got it.
Yeah. Has she?
She's got it. I ain't got it.
Oh.
I ain't got it. I've been trying for years to get it. I ain't got it. She's got it there naturally to go warm, straight out.
I always remember you and Levain, because you were similar ages. How much older than
it's like 18 months.
Yeah, so not much in your old. You were like a little double act. And the funny thing was, when you were a baby, Tom, because I used to go around to your house training, and when you were a baby, you'd like always bring toys and that onto we'd like be sat on the sofa and be talking about something, and you wouldn't say a damn thing, you'd just bring some toy that was it you're going to play with, and put it on your knee and then look at you. Like a dog when it wants you to throw a ball for it or something, you know what I mean? But you weren't taking no for an answer in terms of, look, so you're playing with us whether you know it or not, you know what I mean? That's what we're going to be doing. And then you'd leave me a toy and then you'd bugger off and come back with another one like that. That was yours, And Levain would always translate what she's like, Tom, that's what he wants you to play with these, And it was ace. Absolutely funny as, mate. But you two, when you were young, cute as buttons, mate. It was funny as hell. You're an absolutely cracking pair of kids. But I didn't know that Levain was good on the table. I didn't know she pulled.
Oh, yeah. She stopped after, 6, 9 months, something like that. I don't know why, really. She's silly for it, though. Because even now, if she carried on training, she'd be world champion.
Mega.
2 years training, serious training. I'd put any money on it, she'd be world champion in 55, 60.
How heavy? 55, 60?
Yeah, about 55 kilos she is.
Yeah.
Right now. Yeah, she's, but honestly, it's crazy. A hit, a technique, everything's just...
crisp.
Yeah, spot on. Like, you can't fault it at all. Hooking, top roll, she's really versatile. Like, she can literally pull anywhere. And she's not afraid as well. She'll pull all the guys in the pub, where she works in the pub, and that she'll pull all the guys over the bar, beat them all. Like, she's not normal.
Absolute quality. I haven't seen Levain since you were kids. It'd be interesting to see her now. It's if she ever gets into arm wrestling, magnificent that'll be. Absolute quality.
Well, that's the thing. When I first started, like I said, January, she started at the same time. After 5 or 6 months, we started going down to Slough. We were living in Luton at the time, so we started going down to Slough to see Joanne, Richard, Sylvan, and she was getting Joanne trouble. It was 50-50 with her and Joanne. And she was smaller than Joanne. Yeah. And she'd only had a few months' experience at home in the front room with just us lot. And she was giving Joanne that's what I mean. It's gutting really that she didn't carry on. But that's the sort of level that she was at there, and as I said, it's the potential that she could have had.
Yeah, real shame. You never know, mate. You never know. She might come to it one day.
Yeah, hopefully she does. Hopefully she likes it. She loves being around it still. The kids love it as well. They're going to be brought up into it.
And your brother pulled as well. Simon pulled, didn't
he? Yeah, again, very, very smart on the table. Very technical. He didn't realise himself, I don't think, the potential that he's got. Because even now, he's with the same height, but he's got a lot more reach on the hand. He'll Kings move anyone.
Hey, you can't say that on the show, son. You
know. Honestly though, there's not many people. You can't be sleeping with him. If you let him go from the start, he'll take your hand.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, I won't I won't risk it. I'll go in the hook room straight away, or I'll try and go for the hand control straight. If you sleep with him for a second, he'll take your hand. Like, honestly, it's crazy. And he's and he goes all out as well. He don't just do it half-hearted. If he's doing it, he goes for it, like, properly. Even the training matches, he'll give 100% all the time.
So it's fair to say, mate, that you were definitely from arm wrestling stock.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
and sort of encompassed within it. And when you sort of, what age were you when your mum and dad got back together and you started to get into it there?
15.
So you're 15 years old. Okay.
Yeah.
And did you find that you already had a degree of natural technique, mate? Because obviously you're known for that.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I got brought up with, like, knowing the basic top roll and basic top roll, basic hook. But no, there was nothing. I had a lot of work to do. Like, Levine picked it up a lot quicker than me. Like, so much. Within a couple of days, she picked it up, like, super quick.
Mm-hmm.
With me, it took me a while to tie it all together.
Okay.
Like, I entered the tournament in March. It's just a little three-way super match. Me, Graham Ackers, and another guy from Milton Keynes.
Yeah.
I ended up winning that. And that was a little breakthrough for me. As soon as I felt the competition, I knew what sort of people I'm going against, what they could do to me, and yeah, that just made a lot of sense to me then. I knew I was tying things together a lot better. I won my first tournament after a year and a half, just a little pub tournament, and that was by another old name, Frank Pittle.
Yeah.
Yeah, he held the competition in London. And from there, because I entered the British Juniors as well.
Yeah.
The first year, after 6 months, come second there.
Mm-hmm. Was that to Paul Waters? Was Paul Waters your class? Who were you second?
No, right. So it was Chris Dutton. Do you know Sean?
Okay, yeah.
Sean Mullins?
Yeah.
Yeah, his son.
Okay.
He was back then as well. He was like my bogey. He's the one that I couldn't get near.
Yeah.
But the funny thing was, like, he thrashed me in the during the tournament. It was me and him in the final. He was trying to just sit there with me, like, just watching me attack. I thought, I got something in his hand. I was like, crap. He's like, oh, you actually got me. I was like, yeah, that's it.
It was there.
Yeah,
it was there.
Next match he just goes straight away, no wasting time. I was like, oh no.
And when you first came into it, mate, one of the things I wanted to ask you was, because you're known as being a little bit like Kevin Bongard, Gennady Fadzinov would be another example, but you're that guy that doesn't look like you're going to hook.
Yeah.
But when you get into the hook, you've got venom. Absolute power. And I can attest to that. You bounced all over me and you got some serious horsepower. And a lot of your results that people will have seen you take, for one reason or another, which we'll get to in either this show or one of the next few, have come in a hook. So you've almost become known for hooking. Now, a lot of people in the UK who've charted your career and followed your career know that you're far more than a hook. You've got it all down. And that because of the fact you've had serious injuries and nerve damage in your wrist, that led you in your WL career to have to go that route.
Yeah.
But I was keen to know, when you first sort of started arm wrestling, because of your height, because you're 6'3" and quite a rangy character, did you gravitate towards top rolling, or did you always have that natural hook power there? Was it always there for you?
No. My honestly, like I said, because I had a bad start, like strength-wise, picking things up, the only thing I could do was run away from the hand. Like, everyone's hand was just too strong from the centre. I couldn't go this way, top roll, I couldn't break out the hand, I couldn't go inside even, like, I had no inside power. All I could do is, I took a bit of inspiration from Steve Curling.
Yep.
And watching him defensive top roll was just, like, think about it now, it's like, it's ugly to watch, it's bone line into the max out here. But that's what I started doing though, in training. I started coming out this way.
Yep.
This is dropping right down close to the pad, but as long as my wrist was escaping the hand, then if it stopped, that's the first point again where I knew I had somewhere that I felt good.
Yep.
And then it just started transitioning from there.
Did you have the flexibility at that point, mate? Because you've got very high levels of elasticity in your arm. which we've seen in your later career. Did you always have that?
Yeah, I had that more when I was younger. Yeah, some of the stuff I was doing on the practice table and in tournaments was pretty stupid when I was younger. Yeah. I was just fearless. Even hooking. I'm hooking well out my bone line, sort of.
Yeah,
driving down.
I remember. And still do, truth be known.
Yeah, I do. Okay, I just don't care. When it gets to that moment, you don't care. I mean, there's
a heavy amount of supination. I mean, you supinate like few. You know what I mean? There's not many people drive that supinator that hard, you know?
That's the thing as well. The way I always see it is, if you can't escape it, go with it. But if you're going to go with it, go further than they want to go. Do you know what I mean? So if they want to go here, take them further in so they're here.
Yeah.
Palm up, knuckles up. Then they can't drive down then. As soon as their knuckles are facing up there, they can't go down. Again, it's just little things like that I kept picking up on the way through. See, a lot of time as well, I focus a lot on power when I'm in the hook. But position's key as well. If I don't get to my right spot, if I don't weaken them how I want to weaken them, it'll be a completely different game. But the speed, again, has helped me with that. So I don't think, when I beat someone as easy as I do in the hook, it's not because I'm that much stronger than them, it's just I've disarmed them at the same time as getting to my...
Yes, you have. You're brilliant at that, mate. You're brilliant in terms of the control of the wrist angle, both in terms of your rise and your fall in that area whilst you're performing the hook. But also, I think it's important to point out, I've always been a big believer in, and still am, that the control of pronation when you're in a deep hook is critically important to a point, and then you can also, by the same token, employ that supination as well to give you... It's a timing thing, you know, it's a timing thing, and you're as good as I've ever seen at that. As I've ever seen, your natural inclination to do that is really world class. It's mega, you know, and I think when your wrist is healed, you'll go on to show that more and more, you know, because your timing is one of your biggest weapons. But when you're in the hook, mate, do you are you very conscious of that, or is it a natural instinct thing for you?
Now I am, because of you mean conscious of the injury?
No, conscious of when you change from, because you can see that you're holding the pronation, you're controlling the angle, but then you'll commit very hard and you'll also dump your wrist into that pistol grip to control their hand and wrist.
Yeah.
Are you doing that on autopilot? Are you feeling your way through, or are you consciously making a decision? Okay, this is it, because it's hard for me to see when you're making that decision, because sometimes it's like unorthodox, and I think, is he trying to throw somebody off time in there or what?
That's the thing. It's honestly, I can't put a pinpoint on it what it is, but depending on who I'm going against, you've got an idea what they're going to do, and which means you've got an idea if it's going to be a long battle or if you can get it finished or whatnot. So if it is a long battle, you've got to prepare for the plan B and the plan C. If plan B don't work and you're stuck, plan C is always the best one. Is always the unexpected.
Yeah.
If you just transition from one move completely to another, or vice versa, like out from inside going outside, it's going to shock them. They're not, like, if you're going 100 mile an hour, like, all your power into the hook, then all of a sudden transition to a top roll. See there, all their power's on their hand, in their palm. They're not protecting the fingers. So if you decide to top roll their fingers all of a sudden in that moment, they've got to be fast enough to react to that.
Sure.
I don't know. It's really difficult. I'll try and relax as much as I can in the tournament, in the match. Sometimes I'll lose my head a little bit and I'll get really, really into it, just zoning out. But when I can relax, I can think a lot more, and I'll just see or feel little angles that I can just get my way into, like Dobrin at the Arm Wars.
Oh, the Seni.
Yeah. Yeah, the O2, yeah. He was
where you were dominant, absolutely dominant.
Yeah, I felt good that day. That was really good. On the right arm, he beat me the first match. Then I was like, right, second match in, I've got to do something different. Because I was always trying to chase him, always trying to hook him. And it never worked. He was always just bringing me out, turning me up. Couldn't do nothing there. So in round 2, I just had to try and top roll, side pressure top roll, and then I got the brakes on him. Ended up in like a minute and a half match. Then the third match, he hit me. I let him hit me. I thought confidence through the roof now. Do whatever you want. Hit me right down to the pad. Held it there for like 2 or 3 seconds. Looked at the crowd. Brought it back. Couldn't pin him though. His arm went over, but his body stayed there. And I was trying, couldn't get through it all. And then I heard you in the background just saying, relax, just relax. I'm like, no, it's mine. You're like, no, relax. I'm like, as soon as I relaxed a little bit, he started coming up and I was like, well, he's not at the angle now, boom.
That moment of clarity, sometimes it's nice to just be able to sort of have an out of body experience, isn't it, when you're in the match and sort of see holistically what's happening there. But it's definitely a hard thing to do. But I've thought about when I've mucked about with you on the practice table and so on, and you walk through in my mind the steps that you're performing. Your timing seemed clunky and weird, but in a really good way.
Yeah.
So, like, you'd think, okay, he's going to move there, and you'd go to make the adjustment, and you'd throw something in a weird angle when you didn't expect it. So I was keen, if I ever got arm wrestling again, I'd like to come down and, see if I can learn a few tips and suggestions off you on that one, because it was ace. I thought that was really good. I thought it was great. I was fascinated by it, thinking, like, his timing is fucked up. It's great.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
Well, it throws you, you know what I mean? It's like, you're not expecting that directional change. It's almost like you're throwing a feint and then going totally different place. But the most good arm wrestlers will feel their way through a match. You feel him for the movement. You feel him for the transition and for the weakening. And your timing was so offbeat. It's really weird to get a grasp on. And I've seen you catch out so many good lads with that.
Yeah. I was to say, even my latest one was Tobias Pedersen.
Oh, yeah.
Again, we've added into that though. It's when I get into a position, if it turns into a battle, if I'm not going to rush it, I'm waiting for them to make a move. Which is why, like you said, if I can feel them going anywhere, I'm getting there before they do. If you get there before they do, they can't get there.
Mm-hmm.
If you just make sure you keep that, just keep that sort of mindset on the table, like if you feel they're going to go top roll, get carved in before they do, before they get out in your hand. Keep because whatever they do next, they're planning to attack you. So you've got to keep that basis covered. Make sure you don't leave nothing for them to attack wherever they want to go. That's the plan. That's the main plan anyway. And it's like that with Tobias. We end up in the deep hook. Thing is as well though, I heard him talking about it with Daniel Christensen, that top roll, to King's move. Actually talking about King's move with me. So I was like, right, I know what's happening. Went in the hook reels, thought, right, patience. Felt him coming out the hand there. As soon as I felt him coming out this way, I just went, top. Shakes him out, I was like, yes. He went to take from the table, like, no. I was like, yes.
It's great when they come off, isn't it? When you get a move that just it's like it just flows.
It just goes to plan. Don't happen much, but...
Yeah, a lot of time it's just hang on for your ass and go for it.
That's it.
But I wanted to also find out, mate, when you first kicked off and you got into it, were you of the sort of Cobra Roads, and I've got to say, to some extent myself, that school of thought where it was table, because the young man that I always remember when we'd go places, you were that classical example of never being off the arm wrestling table. But did you supplement that with weights and so on, mate, or was it always... my strength will be on the table, that's where it's coming from, and that's the foundation, and it's also the supplementation of it? Or was it you were doing that and then hitting the gym? Because now, you definitely have got that supporting gym work, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm trying to get it in as much as I can, which ain't much at all. The thing is, my work's physical as well. I've always been in physical work, whether it be landscaping. Right now I'm roofing, so it's bumping up all the heavy rolls of felt, just... everything, anything physical, digging, all of that's helped me. But I think as well, but you're right though, I've always been saying that table time's key. Like, if I only had an arm wrestling table, no weights, I'd be perfectly happy. I know I still get the right gains that I need.
Yeah.
But if you're going to get stronger in the gym, you need to have a good understanding of arm wrestling for it to translate onto the table.
Sure.
which sometimes when you get people that are hammering like really strict curls, doing everything so strict, in my opinion, arm wrestling, there's nothing that's isolated in arm wrestling. You're planning to isolate muscles on your opponent, but there's not going to be anything that you're attacking with. You're not going to be isolating one muscle or everything's working together.
Yeah.
So
it's more CrossFit than bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Functional strength.
Yeah, it basically is, yeah. And you've got to learn how to tie everything together as well. So when table time's key, for anyone that's new starting, table time's key. Get a really good understanding of the table, where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are, what muscles you're using, and then that way you can go into the gym and start trying to activate them muscles again, and then transition it to the table again. But honestly, I think arm wrestling's got me strong in the gym. I don't think gym's got me strong in arm wrestling. Arm wrestling's got me strong on the gym. Because there's something, like, I've never been dedicated to going to gym 5 days a week or anything like that. I bought a couple of memberships, month memberships, and I don't even use up the month. I'll do it for a couple of weeks, just a little craze, and then I'll get bored. I've got the gym in the back garden. I rarely use it. Arm wrestling, though. I do the arm wrestling every single day.
Is that? Do you still pull with really high frequency now, mate? Do you still arm wrestle a great deal?
Not as much as I'd like to at the minute. Obviously, it's
just because of the COVID scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But other than that, though, things are going to change. As soon as everything's back to normal, because obviously it was at my house, so there's only certain days that we could have training, but we're going to rent somewhere that we can basically train every day.
Yeah.
We're going to give a few people the key to the garage or whatever, have all the tables there, few weights, but mainly tables, and just have it open every day, like a certain time, like 4 till 8 in the evening every single day. Everyone's welcome. And yeah, I'll be down there every single day. As long as there's people there as well, I'd be there. Yeah,
because you got some bangers down there now. Obviously, you've had them for a while. I mean, obviously you had Lee, who was coming down and pulling Webber, who's a very, very powerful lad. Now you've got Jay Hill.
Yeah.
You're in business with as well, in NatFit UK, ladies and gents. If you haven't checked these guys out, get over to NatFit UK. And you guys are, about 3 months in now to that?
About 4 months in. 4 months in.
Mm-hmm. Jamie Sheldon's kit, and you're just starting it up over here. You've got the BCAAs out and running already. But Jay, who people won't know yet, outside of the UK scene, is another real prospect. He's rock strong, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, he's ridiculous. I can't stress enough how strong he is. And he doesn't realise how strong he is either. He's just bought a set of 40 kilo dumbbells, like fixed dumbbells.
As you do.
Yeah, and I was like, that's good. Start curling. He's like, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty strong, isn't it?
He's trying to do it. In fact, he texted me saying, I can't even curl him. I said, well, you're probably trying to do it super strict. Curl it like you want to.
Yeah, functionally curl it. And
yeah.
Then
he's just getting it up normal, not throwing it up as well, powering it up. Mm-hmm. Just slight body angle, and he's got it. But it's no scooping under or anything. It's a clean curl still.
Yeah.
He's just using a bit more core strength to get it up, sort of thing.
With Jay's weight, 85, 80.
He's about 85 at the minute.
Yeah.
He wants to get down to 80.
So for the US fans, 176 to 187 pounds, and he's a powerful lad.
Yeah.
And possibly looking for an opponent at the Arnold UK, should that go ahead, obviously COVID dependent, and so on. But getting back to you, mate, what about early inspirations? Because you were surrounded by arm wrestlers, and you were into arm wrestling from a very young age, and it's fair to say you travelled as well.
Yeah.
So did you, when you started, you were around the arm war circuit and so on from a young age, you travelled. Who were your inspirations, both home and abroad, mate? Who were the people that sort of were your favourite arm wrestlers that you looked up to?
Right, well, there's all the top guys. All the top ones. You, Paul Maiden, Andy Barker, Steve Curlew, Alan Greaves. Rod Lynette wasn't doing it when I got back into it.
Mm-hmm.
Again. I think one of the biggest things for me as well, though, is where my mum and dad used to do it, and my dad got to world silver medalist, I sort of had something to live up to as well.
Sure.
So I took a lot of inspiration from my dad as well. Like I have to get there.
The name, the Holland name on your shoulders.
Yeah, got to carry it on. Got to keep it running. So that was a huge bit of motivation for me, and he was a big inspiration. Like just because of what he achieved in a short amount of time as well.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, he really was. For those people, for those people that don't know Lee, try and find some stuff of Lee Holland, because, one was real. Bad mother fluffer. No doubt about that. And I bet he's proud as punch of you, mate.
Yeah.
I bet he's proud as punch of you.
I took the table up there a few weeks ago. A couple of months ago. Yeah, he's still strong.
I bet he is.
Oh, hand and wrist.
Yeah.
His wrist now is like 9.5, 10.
Yeah.
Hey. It's just, he don't train, and his arms are still looking dense. Do you know what I mean? That's it.
Quality.
Don't know how he does it. Don't know.
Good on him. Lee Holland, what an hombre. Love him. Tremendous, mate. Absolute quality. But I can imagine he's out there thinking, yeah, it's my boy.
He'll be watching this now.
Has he followed your career on WL? Has he been watching some of that?
Yeah, he's been watching a lot of it. He keeps up to date with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Online, to be honest, and whatever he can. And do you know what? He had someone. He was in the queue in the bank.
Okay.
And I think he was eyeing up this bird.
As you do.
And, and that fella turned around. And they just got chatting. Because he was saying to my dad, "Oh yeah, you do a bit of training, don't you?" Sort of thing. Yeah. Then the guy goes, "Oh, I'm watching a bit of the arm wrestling, the WAL." And my dad's like, "No way, my son's in that." He's like, "No, get out." Then just went from there. But
brilliant. Yeah, what a moment that is. Absolute quality. And it shows. It's getting out there, mate. It is getting out there. Without a shadow of a doubt. So were you aware of a lot of the international lads at that time when you were getting into the sport? Did you have any sort of international guys that you were a big fan of or emulated, influenced your style?
Right. So to be honest, I wasn't, because of YouTube and that I wasn't aware if there was that many videos on YouTube around that time, like 2007, 2008. I wasn't really big with the computer and that.
Yep.
Internationally, I'm not going to lie to you, even when I got back into it again in 2012, I didn't know many international pullers then. I had people coming to training saying, "Oh, have you seen this person? Have you seen that person?" I'm like, don't know who it is.
Yeah.
It's John Brzezinski, obviously. He's another one who's huge inspiration. Defensive puller. Again, like I said, that's how I started off. And I always thought to myself after seeing him and that, if you stop the match, then it's not game over. So, and the amount of matches that I've actually won from the pad, from the millimeters away from the pad, then brought it back, scary amount of times. Like the amount of times I've done that has probably won me about 10, 20 finals. Yeah,
it has. You've been involved in some of the screamers. I mean, I always remember the WL qualifying match with Love.
Oh.
I'll tell you what, mate, that was absolute class.
You know, that was
probably what scrapped your wrist, wasn't it, I think?
Nah, well, could have done. That was 2016, wasn't it?
Yeah, was it 16? Yeah,
no, was that?
I think it was. I think you're right.
Early 2016. Where I actually done my wrist though was the qualifier 2017. Knowing Clytus and Peacocks and that will come.
Yeah.
I was warming up with Lee, not even on table, just stood up, rolling the wrist, just went bang. So,
what the hell was that?
What's that? He looked at me as well, because he felt it. I was like, I'll just carry on. And then I was struggling with Clytus that day. Well, again, I was trying to hook. Every time I was hooking, it's just going, yoink. There was no holding on to it at all. And you come up to me and you was like, it's not legal to top roll.
Yeah.
That was top roll, didn't want to crack. There we go.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the start of it. And then it fully went in Arm Wars against Patrick Berg.
Oh, Jesus Christ. In Germany. And that was another ridiculous. I mean, the speed of the hits, and he's another guy that pulls so deep and twisted in terms of his supination. The application of that is, horrible. Joint destroying bad.
Yeah, like I said, he's a freak. But he's, it's like I said earlier as well. First match, we went inside. He twisted me right in, powered through me first round. I was like, right. I'm going, you want to go inside? We're going to go deeper. Well, we had the straps on. So the strap was around my wrist. Got inside there. But I think I hit. As I hit so hard, really tried chopping the wrist like far around as I could. And the strap must have rubbed it over the tendon because it was sitting in the groove of the wrist bone. And then, as soon as I went like that, it just went bang straight over. Just popping over the bone. And that was it. I was on the bar at the back of the stage trying to rub my wrist on it, sort of thing. I didn't know what was going on. I was even telling you that I don't know if I can carry on. Yeah,
I remember you saying I've really hurt myself, and it's rare that you get a lad like yourself. I've had you say that day, and I once had Frodo Hogeland when he was pulling Craig QLTY, and in the very first round of the QLTY match, he went to get a stop on Craig, and I could see, that hurt him. Yeah. And he turned round and looked at me like, shit, that's bad. And immediately he came up and he was like tearing up. I'm like, you alright, mate? And he was like, no. And he came and sat down. He said, I don't think I can arm wrestle. But typical I said, okay, pull it, mate, pull it. And he's like, no, and he wouldn't do it.
I'm going to carry on.
Yeah. And I'm like, mate, don't, you'll wreck yourself. You'll end up like me. But he would, so I knew at that point how bad he was.
Yeah.
For him, because I've seen him pull, for all inside out, the positions he's pulled in and the matches he's pulled in, he'll go again.
Yeah.
And he was like, that's hurt.
He won't stop to the side sort of thing. Yeah.
It's bad, and I knew the same with you when you were pulling Berg when you came over. I thought, shit, that must have really damaged the lad.
Yeah.
That hurt.
It was. But it stopped me from powering anymore. I went in for the hit, and then as soon as I felt it, I just went, no, take it. I was like, that's just. I've never felt anything like it. I think it's the ulnar, Capriolna.
That's plagued you for literally years, hasn't it? It's like recurring. I mean, people won't know you stayed out of competition domestically for like 3 years on your right arm. You didn't friggin' arm wrestle. No. And yet you were pulling in you were like trying to get better so you could still arm wrestle in the WAL.
Yeah.
And I thought, are you training? No, I can't train, but I'll be better. I'll be able to arm wrestle.
Yeah, I'll be recovered by then, so it's all right. That is literally that's the reality of it as well. I wasn't training at all. Like I couldn't put my arm on the table. It was literally Bogdan's begging me in training to get on the right arm. I'm like, I can't. I honestly can't do nothing. Like I'm not risking it. Not risking it at all. Then it got to the point where I thought, it's getting a bit better now. I start taking it. Then bang goes again. It's like this is never going to get right.
Yeah, I remember you saying that when you pulled Jeff Hale that you were on a real downer because you said it immediately went.
Yeah, because even then
the match and you just said, "Oh God, it's gone again."
Yeah, because it was like the first two matches, I was actually thinking I'm not going to try and hit him. The game plan with him was if I hit him, he's going to stop my hit. He's expecting me to hit, so he's trying to be the catcher. So I thought, what if I don't hit? What if I let him do the first little move? Then I counter hit him, and that's what happened the first two matches. I got him down. Like first match, I just turned him in. Second match, I top rolled him out.
Yeah.
Third match, I thought, right, it's got a bit quick. Got to slow down a little bit. Went inside, started pulling him there, feeling good, really, really good. Again, it was that part there in the hand, hitting that tendon all the way down. I was trying to do that pressure down to him. He looked at me, he's like, go on then. Good. As soon as I went like that, bang, all from there, right the way down the forearm, like into the elbow. I was like, this is just getting worse. Then I nodded at him, I was like, no, go on, take it. So I can't do nothing, go on.
Yeah. I remember how much pain you were in the next day when we went for something to eat at the little cafe around the corner there, and you were absolutely wrecked. You couldn't put your hand in your pocket. It's like,
bad.
Torn it up big time. But here's one for you, mate, bit off the wall. All the comparisons that are made with you and the likes of Kevin Bongard and guys like that, Gennady Fadzionov, and the others that you sort of compared to. Have you ever like gone back and checked those guys out? Have you ever sort of watched any of the stuff and thought, oh yeah, I am pretty similar to them? Or have you never really bothered?
Never. I've never bothered. I don't know why. After this, I probably will have a little look at them. Just see what everyone's saying about.
Mm.
But yeah, whenever someone compares me to someone else, I never look for the comparison.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be. It's not that I don't want to be compared to anyone else. It's just that I'm not trying to replicate anyone else.
Yeah, you know you are yourself.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be like, oh yeah, I am like him.
Mm-hmm.
I do wrestle like that because they just wrestle the same. I'm not trying to chase that certain move.
Yep.
It's just you do whatever you got to do on the table and be as versatile as you can.
Where's your greatest strength, Tom? If you had to break your technique down, or technique, mental, whatever it is, what's your weapon? What's your acid weapon? Where are you best? When you're fit, when you're 100%.
Again, it depends. Depends who it's against.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously my hook, I favour the hook for, it's almost like a safety net, the hook. If I lock it in, I'm in there for a while. Top roll and that's always a bit risky against someone with a really strong hand or a longer lever.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly now, especially since this has got better, just my pronation, hand and wrist strength feels better than it ever has. And I think especially in the straps, I don't think there's anyone that can overpower my hand in the country, at least. And that's on the right arm now. Confidence is through the... I know it's hard to say as well because I've not had much table time.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just one of them, you just know, don't you? When you feel the connection with certain people and it's just like, yes.
Yeah, you feel like there's a lot coming back in there.
Yeah. But top roll, I feel like if me and someone else went for a top roll, I'm going to win.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to overpower the hand. I don't think anyone can get that knuckle dominance, that height on the knuckle dominance to overpower my hand at all. But I think that's where a lot of it starts on top roll as well. If you get that top knuckle dominance, if your top knuckle's not dominant, you've got a top roll from the wrist.
Wrist, yeah.
Which means you're leaving your hand exposed.
Mm-hmm.
There, so you've got to keep that top knuckle really strong, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you dominate the top knuckle, as soon as you get their knuckle under yours, that's when you can start applying the wrist pressure to get it back. Because then you're above. Since you've got the knuckle dominance there, you're above the hand straight away. You're from the centre.
Yeah, it gives you the height.
Just that little bit, and then you've got down pressure from there. You've got back, and that's just from the top of the hand. Then you've got the hand and wrist. You've got the wrist there that you can just manipulate the hand.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say top roll, 100% is what I feel more comfortable with at the minute.
Interesting. That is for people out there that have always seen you as the man who'll throw the hook in.
Yeah.
So that's going to shock a few people, without a shadow of a doubt.
Especially
when it's done at lightning speed, mate, which they may not know you have, and some of us do. So exciting times. It really is. When in your career, mate, was your turning point? When do you feel like you arrived?
Right, there's a few different stages here. So I pulled Craig in 2000 I can't remember if it was 13 or 14. I pulled him out of competition in Ruislip, and I beat him then, right arm. I beat him like 3 times on the day. But then everyone was like, no, Craig must have had wars and that. And I was like, Craig had a war, but then I entered every single weight class like I used to all the time. I had about 10 battles that day. Even though my stamina was probably a bit better than Craig's on that day as well. And it's still hard matches. But as soon as I felt the stop on him, I knew where the connection was and I knew where to go with him.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first point. I thought, I've got to get him fresh.
Yep.
But maybe I've got something. Then I went to Rochefort.
Yep.
2015. I can't remember if it was 15 or 16. I think it was 15. And I pulled Matty Slip in the final.
Yeah.
He beat me in the qualifier, and then I had to beat him twice in the final.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's one of them ones. I tried top rolling him, didn't work. His hand's too big. I had to dedicate to the hook. And he was another one of them matches where I was defending and then brought him back.
Yeah.
Twice in the final. And one point was the competition in London. The X-Men.
Oh, mate, you had a stellar day.
Yeah, roll.
Particularly on the left arm.
Yeah.
You were iron.
The thing is as well, though, I was in the 78 class, weighing 71.
I remember, yeah.
Because I tried, literally, for 2 weeks.
The 70, didn't you?
Yeah, I was 75 2 weeks before. Tried making the 70. Throwing Killy up the night before, because I was wearing a bin bag at work. I was mixing up ballast in the barrel, like about 4 tons of ballast, wearing a bin bag under my clothes, all over my legs, and that just, didn't make the weight. So I said to him the night before, look, I've got to do 78s instead. And then,
I remember the day you said, I'm losing like 5 kilos, and I'm looking at you thinking, Jesus, I've had fatter hard-ons.
Yeah.
Where's that coming from? Literally, I've more fat on my teeth than you had on your body. You looked lean as, honestly, you looked gaunt as hell. And when you said how much you thought, oh God, if you ain't got any holy water, mate, you ain't making it. Not our prayer.
The worst one was, we'll get back to that though, Poland.
Mm-hmm.
Poland, I lost 10 kilos in a week, didn't I, for that one?
Yeah.
That was just under 4 kilos on the day in the sauna.
Carrying you to the scale.
Yeah, then I had to go for like a 2-mile jog, didn't I? With XXL boxes, because I rushed getting them. They didn't even fit me. Now I lost all the weight. I'm holding them up trying to run down the road.
Absolute quality. People thought you just came back from the Incredible Hulk.
Oh, no. No, I doubt it.
Mate, they were good times.
Yeah, it was. But then, the X-Men competition, though, I didn't know, like we were saying earlier, I didn't pay too much attention to a lot of the top guys around the world. And there was a lot of them there that day.
Yeah, there was. Svetan
Gashevsky, Dobrin,
yeah.
Levi. Even in the middleweights and that, Plamen Dimitrov in the same class as Chip Yarnov and Babayev and
Ansas Asmonas, Rustam Babayev.
Yeah, it was a huge competition.
Mm-hmm.
But then I had a screaming match with Svetkov.
Yep.
I know the error that I made there as well. I left my body behind from my arm, and then he counted that. I was all over his hand, but then I just made that mistake. I couldn't.
Yeah, the Randy Bayers effect.
Yeah. Oh yeah, same again. But it's then the one though was I beat Levi that day as well, left arm.
Yeah.
Just flashed him.
Mm-hmm.
And then who else was there?
Svetan, you had a screamer with.
Yeah, Svetan. Now I had no idea who he was, and I tried top rolling him, didn't get nowhere, and again he forced me in the hook, dragged me down to the pad. I stopped him an inch above the pad. And I thought, what's he doing? Like, why isn't he finishing it? I see his face though, he's struggling. I was like, alright, and started carving in, driving it up, bringing it out to the middle, went for the adjustment, elbow fouled. So right, now I know where to go. Is he ready to go? Crack! It's my elbow come off the side of the pad. I was like, no. And then Dan Thomas come up to me after, he was like, that's Svetan Gashevsky. I'm like, who's that? And then he's like, he told me who he was and that, what he'd done. I was like, don't know, mate, not sure. But yeah. And then there was another time as well where I think I pulled you in British overalls, or was it New Year Cup overalls?
Lefty.
Left arm, yeah, a few years
ago. Scared the shit out of me. I thought you'd... Yeah.
Well, it was, I just remember I didn't have a match with any big names, that were heavier than me in the country.
Yeah, I remember going up there thinking, oh, little Tom, no problem. And then 5 minutes later thinking, problem. Thinking, what the f*** did that come from?
Well, that's the thing as well.
Train.
Yeah, that's the thing as well, because it was you, I thought, I want to show you what I've got, sort of thing.
Oh, mate, you did.
Oh, no, I thought I ain't holding back.
3 seconds in, I'd sucked my own pants up my arsehole. I couldn't believe it. I went up there expecting it to be an easy match. It was like, what the? I don't think my arms got over it yet. Oh, mate, that was ace.
But it's literally just points like that that was making me think, then giving me the confidence to just keep training and train harder, sort of thing. It's like, right, I'm not too far, another little step and I'll be here,
I remember you actually at the Arm Wars. Oh God, I'm damned if I know the year, but it was the year. It might have been 2014-ish, 12 or 14, around about there. I'll tell you what it was. It was the year that we were in the Dome, and Ryan Bowen came.
Yeah, Soccer Dome.
Ryan Bowen made his Arm Wars debut. A young Ryan Bowen against an Al Najran. And in fact, him and Neil had a screamer that day.
Yeah.
It was an absolute blinding battle.
Yeah, it was.
And I think you pulled Ted. I want to say it was Ted Wilson.
Yeah.
Ted the Elf.
Yeah, Ted Wilson.
Who at the time may have been like European bronze medalist in the 60 or 65 kilo class, something like that. And he was one of the top lads in Britain, may have been British champion even. And,
yeah, he beat the British.
Yeah, but you handled him that day, like convincingly handled him. Right-hander. In fact, you may have pulled him both, but you dominated him that day. And afterwards, I interviewed you. And I said something along the lines of, "Oh, what's your aspirations? How far can you go? Where you going?" And you said that, "Look, I'm going to say this now, and people will think I'm stupid. People will think they won't believe me. They'll think I'm nuts. But I want to be overall number one in Britain, the man." And God damn. Hey?
Still got a couple of guys that I've got to
Mate,
try
you're
and
up
get
there
through.
on any given day. You show up in your best shape and your fittest shape, you're up there, mate.
I feel like I'm capable of beating anyone in the country now.
I do.
Whether I can or not, but I feel like it's definitely possible. If I do the right thing on the right, yeah. And so everyone's got a weakness. Everyone's got weaknesses. Just got to isolate it. So
Yeah.
if you can isolate it, target it, then why not?
Yeah, and I feel like also you're a bit of a crowd. You're definitely a crowd favourite for me. I'm obviously a big Tom Holland fan, but it's hard not to be. And whenever you do the tournaments, you do notice there's a wave of excitement whenever you go to the table, and I like that.
Yeah.
I like the fact that you're almost like the signature lightweight arm wrestler of the country, picking up the reins from the magnificent athlete that is Craig, the Birmingham Bullet Sanders, and that's nice. And I know Craig appreciates that, seeing lads like yourself coming through and picking up the torch and running with the mother fluffer. It's cool. It's quality to see, and that's nice that we've got someone who is world class that can go out there and mix it up. And you've had so many impressive wins. You've even had wins against left hand. You got a win against another absolutely outstanding arm wrestler. I mean, you tell us about that, mate. Super match victory. Went over to was that? Did it take place in Denmark? It was Daniel Christian's tournament, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's the one.
Mindaugas and you had been getting a bit mouthy.
Yeah, he was. He was getting a little bit. As he does, yeah.
I love Mindaugas. He's quality, isn't he? He gets on it. I love it.
I get on with him well. I do get on with him
well. He's a good
well.
dude, mate.
Yeah.
He's a good lad, and I like that. I like that sinister cutting edge he's got. It's great, and he's mega. It's ace.
The thing is, as well, on the date, obviously as well, that all comes into play, doesn't it? Like the confidence in that. If you ain't got the confidence,
that's what's wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And I see him on the day, on tournament, like a couple of hours before we pulled. And he's like, "Oh yes, you're not as big as I thought." I was like, "Oh, likewise." Then he's like, he's pacing around the room, sort of thing, like getting himself warmed up. I'm there, arms folded, talking to Patrick and Adrian. So I think like, "Oh yeah, they're alright. That's good, Paul." And he comes up, Mindaugas comes up to me. He's like, "Tom, you look nervous." I'm like, "I'm nervous." I'm like, "You're the one that's pacing around, mate. You're going to lose a few kilo, ain't you, before the match?"
So you didn't. There was no backing off the banter then before it kicked off.
Nah.
Absolutely.
Then as well, like, as soon as the match ended and that, I said to him, "Look, like, we're different weight classes, sort of thing. Like, we both met at, I think it was 74.
Yep.
I think he was 73, I was 75. Something like that. There's a little bit of a difference. But again, that was only left arm. Even on the right arm, on the practice table, I pulled with him, because Daniel Christensen, he actually got me treatment He got me shockwave therapy on my right arm.
Okay.
Whilst I was over there. First day there, he said, right, come on, we're going to go to the doctors, get that sorted. Next day, felt good. Half-hour session on it, just like a load of, apparently it's like thousands of crystals that hit your tendons.
Yep.
Had about a half-hour session of that, and it felt really good.
Excellent.
So I thought, right, I can't stay off table now. Mendoris, come on. Went on there. Right arm felt really good with him. Really,
it'd be a great match. Yourself and Mendoris would be great. And I'm sure that's our match we will see in the World Armwrestling League or Arm Wars or elsewhere. It's going to happen. I'd love to put it on. You know, both two of my favourite arm wrestlers, two guys that have got some real character. And I'd like to actually get you guys on a show as well. Maybe with Jeff and a couple of the other lads just to bounce things around, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
Certainly ahead of the WAL season next time. Listen, mate, we're an hour in, so I'm going to let you get off here and get some food. You've come straight in from work. But, ladies and gents, please send us the messages. Remember, you can email the channel. And it's a simple one, supernaturalstrengthchannel@gmail.com. That's supernaturalstrengthchannel@gmail.com. Links in the description also, with the shirt ads and so on, so you'll see it in there if not. Please put comments in, the comments down below. Let us know what you would like us to pick up with Tom. What you want to know from Tom. Any questions, let us know. We'll be back on here soon with Tom Holland, the Lean Machine, and we will put those questions to him. And, mate, I want to say thanks for coming on. Time's flown by. I loved it as always.
Yeah, it's been good, mate. Really enjoyed it.
Quality. And if this is your first time on the Supernatural Strength channel, ladies and gents, please help us out. Like, share, subscribe. Let everybody know about it. Remember, the British scene, this guy's one of the top arm wrestlers on the UK scene, but the PAA with Paul Maiden doing a great deal of stuff. Get over in Mighty's Corner to their YouTube channel. Check out some of the stuff that's going on in Great Britain. A lot of great arm wrestlers, a lot of great talent coming up that route at the moment. And Tom Holland's one of those guys. And until we see you next time, here on Supernatural Strength, ladies and gents, take it easy, peeps.
What grabs your eyes on that, if anything?